What kind of person to say a toe-to-so? But you know what? A toe-to-so. A fucking a toe-to-so.
You fucking mark!
سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Yes, y'all law infidels, that's right. Who wants to go to Twitter war with me? Let's go back and forth, and then step to me and I'll give you a $5 face slap you'll never forget, infidels, because the Twitter fine czar is back in the house, and you're all suspended, sent home with pay and NDAs. And we're going to break it all down here on Light the Fuse, RBV, Hacker Hamin, channelattitude.com, Hamin Media Group. YOLO. Yo, what's good? I've come to lie on the fire, infidels, and it's red hot in the newsroom this morning with all the fallout from more bullshit locker room ego moves, Twitter tough guys, and just the new world order of wrestling with woke culture as opposed to what it used to mean to be a part of this mafia and protect the locker room at all costs. Instead, it's expose all day, but I've got my man here. He actually was up against Kelly for the ECW expose spot. He is the gigolo, the stripper supreme. It's my man RBV. What's going on, pal?
It's goddamn politics, man. They had me beat. I didn't get the spot there, but that's all right. That's all right. Things turned out okay because I had to move on, so I'm at HMG. But you said something there that was my first thought. You know, what's all the news yesterday? It's not the excitement about the 3rd year anniversary. It's not about the card. It's not about the storylines or the matches that they're so focused on. No, again, it's the backstage antics. But, you know, as you go around these different circles, everyone's like, oh, my God, it's out of control. I wasn't surprised in the least bit this is happening. I was wondering why the fuck is this getting out?
Well, it's getting out
because, well, as you said, protect your locker room. You're going to have bickering. You're going to have that's as old as wrestling.
Yeah. Well, what's not as old as wrestling is doing the shoot bickering on social media leading up to Point Break and them being pulled aside the night before and saying, we don't want any bullshit. No, they won't get any heat from me in the locker room. No, I'm not going to do nothing, brother. And instead of, it's hot. You guys wanted to do it. Now, guess what? That match is canceled. We're rebooking the card and fucking, yeah, we'll send you home, but you're going to do business on your way out and show the tweets, cut it up. We had one show scheduled, but things are boiling over in the locker room, fans. And this one is just too hot to miss. And, you know, and the other part of that is you're coming off the heels of a huge belly blush embarrassment from Scrum Job Millionaire and fucking the locker room fight. And these guys still haven't learned shit. They're embarrassing the locker room publicly when you need to try and be saving face that your company's got it all together. This company does not have it all together.
I say, you know, all around, should it be more surprising? You know, not that we're seeing this from a locker room, and as we said, that happens, but you are so under the microscope right now about losing control of your, and then to have this immediately come out with a whole different set of people. And actually, it's the Sammy's second time because he had the thing with Kingston.
Yeah, well, you can run down the level of stupid indiscretions from the Sasha Banks shit to the let's get engaged on TV and then bang around on the girl next door with another worker and run off and marry her, because that will end, I'm sure, in the most positive way, like most wrestling marriages. You know, all these things where he went to Impact and was kind of an issue there, never wrestled for him, right? Like,
yeah, then he wasn't wanting being like a real drop, didn't want to put anybody over, wanted that true superstar treatment,
and was hot, I guess, about getting stiffed in the ring by Andrade, and you know, that some lighten up brother shit, or am I testing him, or I don't know what their deal is, but then it spills over into some fucking 8th grade girl Twitter war. And then that builds while everyone's embarrassed to the point of we have to have Point Break where we're either going to cool it down and they tried to the night before, as opposed to bringing them both in, officing them both, sitting them the fuck down, and let them know how it's going to be. Or let's close the door and you fucking swing on each other and let's get back to business. But we're not going to be doing this shit in front of the public, and it's almost too late for that, because they did go into biz for themselves, and at a time when, if you're real workers, you should have known to stay small and shut the fuck up in the wake of the CM Punk Bucks and Omega incident.
Now, we are getting the report here. Initially, the breaking was coming out because he had Tammy advertised. Obviously, we're going to get to the show itself in the main event. We're going to talk about that match. But initially, they came out and said that both were sent home. And, a lot of people were wondering, okay, how they're going to cover this main event. They're still advertising him. They're going to work this in somewhere. During the show, we get a turn on that maybe we got some false news from – who was it that broke that? Was it TMZ Sports was the first?
TMZ was the first out, yeah. So
Meltzer has come back and said that Sammy not sent home because he didn't throw a punch. But I mean, you can't wash his hands from this thing. He's just as guilty.
Well, yeah, like maybe not the actual physicality of it, but the fucking weekend leading into this with them going back and forth was. I mean, obviously physical assault at work is another thing, but like the damage is already done. You're cunting off in fucking public. Why? Be workers. Shut the fuck up. We're not paying this off. So why are you working a hot program online that we're not going to do on TV because we're too chicken shit of the embarrassment level of what could happen or out of our control? We got to do fake wrestling. So,
well, I mean, if you're going to get real, make real money with it.
Well, exactly, but that would show that they're out of control. Well, it wouldn't show that they're out of control, but like the guys can now go into business for themselves and hot shot an angle anytime they want, and that's not a good thing.
Well, Mike Martin brings it up. I know Chat's been talking about it. One, Andrade, is this his way of saying, you know what, I just want the hell out of here. Here's the way to do it. I'm just going to go punch somebody. Or is it, he comes from, that old school, that Mexican style where they don't take a lot of shit. Was he getting people in his ear like, dude, you're going to let this little piece of shit talk to you like this without Eddie come up and say it? You think about that, the size of those two. I mean, we're talking about and Sammy's, he's a well put together guy, but you compare him, we're talking a man and a boy here.
Oh, I'm taking Andrade in a shoot all day. Right. That money's definitely on him.
He might be. I kind of get that feeling though with Andrade.
Sammy will run up, jump off of a ladder, and knock himself out before fucking Andrade hit him one time. Yeah, dude. I think you're spot on. This is a way for Andrade to get out. They had the match with number 10. Was he going to lose his mask and become a babyface? Maybe, or was this going to like send Andrade packing and do business on the way out? Unfortunately, that stupid storyline doesn't compare to this right here, right? And that was just a match out of nowhere, dumb. And didn't number 10 say something about if you don't like it, get the fuck out of here? So maybe there was something else with Andrade being like, why should I lose to this guy? I just want to leave anyway. And like maybe he was hot. I don't know. No one's really explored that yet of how that might play into this, of like what the reaction is or how it contributed to the climate backstage where maybe Sammy spoke up because of some shit. You know what I mean? And that's what started it. So those are the unknown factors that, as the kettle's boiling until it boils over here. So everybody, again, much like the first situation with Punk, Bucks, and all that, made the wrong decisions and are mea culpa all the way along the way. It's not like somebody got bullied or pushed into a decision to do something. They made all the wrong wrestling decisions along the way. And I was just listening to Nick Hausman on K100 and did a good job. I was happy with it. And Nick's, sticks to who he is, and even if it's in a different way, but he's putting over the fact that how many people from the Attitude Era are gone because of bullying, and that led to depression and drugs and people just fucking with each other, but protecting the locker room, and Conan and them not half-ass laugh at it, but put over the Steiners and whatnot.
Having a good time led to the drugs part.
Yeah, but
leaving the business led to the depression.
It's a weird argument to make, and I don't think I stand by it. But I have to look at it this way real quick, and I could be off base, but I want to lay it out here. Of keyboard tough guys in the locker room, woke culture, acceptance culture, every rainbow, da da da. Okay, that's where we are as society, and that's where we've evolved to from kind of the 80s bully culture. However, in a lot of industries, that's great. Wonderful. Yeah, you can go to your job and have less fear of it. In the wrestling world, it's done the opposite. We've exposed the locker room. There aren't real men and tough guys around. There's a lot of Twitter tough guys that go into biz for themselves that can't shut the fuck up and be the part of the mafia that they are because there's no fear of reprisal. Whereas if you did any of this, even remotely scratch the surface of this 20 years ago, Bradshaw will fuck you up. Bob Holly would end you. Fucking, there'd be
even to an extent where it's not. We're essentially bullying. So, I mean, that's a term that you can throw out there to vilify somebody. But even going out and going to Twitter and exposing shit like this, someone that's the most revered, respected across the board in professional wrestling, The Undertaker will come to you, say, hey, man. My
point is, should there be a level of serious fear and fucking knowing how to play the game as opposed to wrestling's for everybody? Because when we go with that model, it brings out the weirdest fucking behaviors and softness and expose the business and can kill this company. These things are killing this company, as opposed to you're in the fucking mob and we're going to fuck with you. Are you going to know how to take it and bite back or stay small? Or are we going to throw down and that'll be it? And it doesn't happen in front of the crowd. Instead, we're going right to the, hey, everybody, gather around. Here's the real shit that I want to fucking say about the company I work for. It's I got to say, the model of advanced fear, crazy politics, and fear of getting your fucking face beat in by a guy across the locker room from you kept everybody a little more straight and streamlined and protected the biz and was run by men. Now that it's woke children who maybe it is a little safer. I don't know. There's been more fights now in the last month going down, like that they're doing more damage because they don't have that healthy fucking fear in them of reprisal, because this second happening in less than 6 weeks shows that nobody learned a fucking lesson, bro. And nobody's scared of doing anything. And Andrade's probably a smart enough worker that he's like, fuck this place, fuck this guy, and I'll do what the fuck I want. Punk got sent home and paid off with an NDA. I'll fucking do the exact same thing because that he's got the leverage as a shark worker to go, if they're like, you swung on him, da 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 da. And he goes, yeah, I want what money Punk made and in an NDA, and I'll shut the fuck up too. And then they'll go, no, we're not doing that because you're not over as Punk. Well, then I'll tell the world that you did that. And fucking
tell the other story and tell all the other bullshit.
Like,
stuff that we don't.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, we only really know a couple stories. Think about the ones that they were able to hold, to keep back.
Oh yeah, dude. So there's a lot of fucking nuke. Everybody's got nukes to drop, man, and you don't want to turn it hot. You don't want to. You want to put the first key in and not the second, maybe. But whether it's in Russia right now or the locker rooms, like, these are what the fans don't know about and don't think of the other side of what is untold, is far more devastating possibly. And it's the threat of doing something to go test me and see what the fuck if I do, if I don't then run tell that on the serious shit, where the fans think this surface level stuff is the serious shit when it's not at all. Everyone's playing chess here, not checkers. You're thinking 3 moves ahead. So when I make this calculated move to punch this guy, it's not just to be like, oh, because I want to go back and work with Triple H. It's, yeah, I want out of here, and I'm also going to fucking pick his pocket. And if he says no, then that means I'm going to play this other fucking piece. I'm going to move rook instead of my knight, and I'm going to do this and get him cornered to really hammer him for another payday on the way out. So, but fans can never know that because they don't have that type of level of politics. People can say WWE's corporate and it's a different in a new day. All this shit goes on. And when you get to that level And a lot of people do, and they've never experienced how to play these chess moves. And they get drawn right into these traps real easily, and then everybody looks bad, bro.
But, with Andrade too, everybody immediately, oh, it's a WWE thing. Sure, he wouldn't mind going back there. He had a great run under Triple H. Yeah, he could just go all the way back to Mexico and he'd be fine. Take the money from Khan.
I don't know. Not what I just heard from fucking on Conan's show. It seems like now this is what
Throw a lot of heat down there.
Andrade as well. He said he wanted a fucking pay out for getting them Flair, and then when he was at AAA, they fed him. He was there too early for call. He had to be there at 11. Most calls for TV are usually 2, but like, whatever, dude, you're being paid to be there, fucking be there. And he said they didn't have big catering set up for him. Like, it's not the same level show. Like,
oh, absolutely. I'm not saying that, but
I say that, but I got to give a shout out to Immortal because our fans bring crazy catering for us. Like these fans can spend like $200-300 of their own money to feed the boys. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's nuts. And they spend all day cooking like crock stuff, dude. It's cool.
I always wanted to try to encourage something like that, or get sponsors for that. And Beast was very adamant. He's like, don't feed them, don't feed them.
It's interesting, but Beast sees it from a different way because, sorry, I know we're getting off here, because we had to go through OVW as non-contract guys, and when we were at Six Flags. You want to talk about the pecking order? This is exactly what I'm talking about. The old school versus new school way.
That's what I'm saying. It's a little spin up and a learning opportunity about how this all plays in together.
It's like this garage thing, and they bring in whatever chicken, burgers, or deli that week, and have all your drinks, and you get whatever you want, right? But your fucking ass is a non-contract guy, even if I'm working on the show versus Rob Conway or Nick Dinsmore or somebody. You sit over there and you sit the fuck down. And all the contract guys go through and eat first. Cody, Ryback, whoever the fuck, right? And then when you know that all the contract guys have gone through first, and they would test you, like 1 or 2 guys would hang back.
Right. I mean, was it kind of like you guys looking at each other, like, all right, who's gonna make the first move, man? In case who might be sacrificed? Who's gonna see the rest and guys
and guys who are on TV, like Jamin, or maybe not me, but like other dudes. We wait for him to make the move because they'd be like, fuck this. And like that was like the thing, like, I don't care, I'm going out. Even if there was 1 or 2 guys who hadn't, but those 1 or 2 guys would hang back to test and show the pecking order. And this is what OVW would prepare you for more than in ring and in front of people, because that's the shit that was going on at WWE. Maybe not with non-contract guys, but I guarantee when a Paul London first got there, you don't eat catering for your first 2 years. Like, I know guys who wouldn't even go to catering because you don't want the heat, bro. Like you eliminate yourself, and guys would know that that's what you're trying to do on the road, and they try and fuck with you in a different way. Or they'd be like, this guy waited 2 years to go to catering, give him his respect, but these kids don't even play at that level. So then non-contracts would go and get the rest of what, was left over. So it's such a mind fuck level that some people aren't made for that shit. And some people can't humble themselves. And some people don't even know what's going on while it's going on around them. And they walk right into fucking traffic like a little baby. They opened the door and walked out into the street, bro. It's fucking that sick of a business to be in, really. And some psychopaths like me thrive on that shit.
Well, it's crazy. You're telling the story here. This is, although contracted, other trainees were at development. I think about how nerve-wracking it had to be when you went from OVW, you got called up to work a show on the road with WWE or something like that.
Dude, I watched it with Idol Stevens, Casey James. I watched it with Santino, with Crime Time, with Beth Phoenix getting called up. I've seen where people don't move from Louisville and are going back and forth, and they go from the big fish in the pond to now the minnow in the WWE pond, and they're wound tighter than a fucking whippoorwill's asshole, bro. Like, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy, dude. Like how the mind fuck can take somebody who's on top and show them that you're nothing. And they wanted to do that right away.
Now going back, we're talking about maybe reasonings behind it. Maybe it was just frustration. Maybe it's just, I'm sick of this. I got to stand up for myself. Or it could be, hey, it's an easy way out of here. Tony Khan, that's a dangerous line to be walking. And people start seeing, hey, well, this is workplace just violence to get me out of here.
Well, yeah, I hope people have enough goddamn sense not to ruin their chance, because this doesn't help people to go back to WWE. This would make me go.
I'm just thinking this is taking a big risk to get,
Yeah, big risk. So it's not the right thing to do. I don't endorse it. However, my whole point was of what Nick was saying on there about, I'm glad we've advanced as a society in the workplace, so I don't have to do that. In the wrestling business, I don't want to say it was better before, because it was, dudes would have breakdowns and be depressed and drug addicted and do whatever. And who knows the sexual shit that a lot of women were subjected to,
Yeah, I think you're fair there. There has to be some sort of middle ground where you have those principles, those foundations, maybe not to the extreme.
No, you can't be 1 foot in.
Yeah, but like you said, though, I mean, we go back and we look at, just not the potential of the women that were involved in the business, but things that were happening with minors out on the road. I mean, there's some
Renee, you can listen to, nobody's even touched on the Lawler stuff. Fucking
I wouldn't think of just anything. There's a reason, though. I know you and I aren't particularly big fans of it, but there's a reason that Dark Side has been around so long and it's so popular, because there's a lot of that shit out there.
Because that's the real deal of the wrestling biz, dude. and even though they skew it and they want to try and start heat, and instead of doing it the right way, that those stories all exist, and it still is going on right now, bro. And it might be kayfabed more, and for a while there it was raised up as like, oh, those workers, those dirty old men, and we fucking get down for ours and shit. But really, there's victims in all of that. And there's victims in the people who are actually portraying it, because you're doing it to set some weird, perverse standard. So Nick's points were absolutely valid. I just know there weren't, I don't want to say there weren't this kind of problems, because there were different kinds of problems.
What were like Conan and Disco's, what were their kind of rebuttals?
At first they kind of scoffed, and then Nick breaks it down, and Conan's like, yes. And like Nick's points are spot on when it comes to the diversity culture and safety culture of what WWE wanted to become corporate, right? Well, now you undertake all of that HR. You go from a carny business where anything goes under the circus tent, and then try and take that and move it into a corporate structure. It's not an easy thing to do. And then when a lot of the carniness still goes on, but you act like you're playing by corporate rules and get exposed for doing that, now now we're in a weird thing, because now we kayfabe the carniness and everybody's smiling at corporate as fuck. Meanwhile, we got the boss signing NDAs, doing quid pro quo, passing around his girlfriend, some old school carny shit, right? And fucking all that, and it sets the tone for what the reality is for bagging up Mickey James's shit in a hefty cinch sack and sending it to her. Like, all these things, that's not very corporate. You know what I mean? Like, I've worked at some major Fortune 500 marketing firms, and I never saw nobody treated like that or have to fear for their job like that. Like, I've seen at other places, fiber instrument sales and whatnot, people like freaked out about little office politics, and I go, holy fuck, they can't handle this. Like, they'd never handle the biz for more than 2 minutes, they'd be eaten alive, so it was like I said, a true, when I throw the mafia thing around, is because I love mob movies and whatnot, but it is a very different culture, different lifestyle, and you can't really put it under the corporate umbrella and expect the other side of it to survive. But without that carny, fucked up, weird side, wrestling is not wrestling.
According to the Meltzer report, he says, there are some different opinions. Still trying to get to the bottom thing, but again, Sammy and Andrade were warned to not get physical. There would be serious repercussions with that.
Warned by who?
And that's you just get kind of the surface here, so it's so hard to
Well,
read
it
into
does matter. If it's Khan, that's one thing. If it's fucking
but if
Chris
it's just the guy, a handler or something, then no, right?
Yeah, man. I don't know if it's a Chris Daniels and he told you and he straightened you out. Now you're going against one of the boys, even if he's office. And I think that's a bigger offense to me. Like, I hate to say bigger offense than Khan, but I don't think I know the way locker room looks at Khan, bro. Like the hugging and all that shit. Like,
why couldn't Tony just handle this himself and just hug it out?
Yeah, unfortunately.
But Meltzer says Andrade is trying to get fired.
Oh, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that.
Let's see. Again, you get these dirt sheets. I said to you the other day before we went on here, it's like you want the statement, you want the news, and they try to give you all this like they're in-depth journalist here. No, I know where he's from and all this. I don't need all that shit.
Yeah, no. But it's the problem is look at what they did 6 weeks ago. They get sent home. Punk, this still hasn't hit the sheets, but the word is what I got is that Punk signed an NDA and got paid off, possibly Ace too. So if you set that as the tone, why wouldn't you walk up and crank somebody in the fucking head that you can't stand? Because now the precedent's been set that that's what you can work this guy to do, and you want to get fired, so you're getting what you want to get out. And then if he says, no, I'm not paying you, then you threaten to expose the Punk stuff. Like it's an easy fucking Uno, draw two, skip you, reverse card to fucking play. So Mars, the Bake Boys Club, giving big shout out to the Bake Boys out there. Check out their merch, you guys. But I talked about the cheating in the fishing tourney. I haven't, and I know a guy who's on the circuit that I went to high school with, and I just read his diatribe on it that, like everything else, this shit's been going on, like corked baseball bats or
what circuit was it? What tournament?
It was Big Bass Pro tournament, and these guys, okay. I think they were fishing walleye. They might have been largemouth. I can't remember, but they fucking pull like they're standing right
setting their stringer, set the stringers out, and
all the guys are standing around them. They weigh their fish, and the guy stabs right into their fish, comes down, pulling out fucking big sinkers, pulling out
weighting them down,
pulling out fillets, like other filleted fish like they had caught that weren't that size, and then shoving the meat into the mouth of the fish as well. And those guys just stood there and took it while all the guys in the tournament were shitting on them. But and I guess those guys have won like $400,000, right? So they should sue and
exposed business right there.
Yeah, man. So
it's funny because we used to have precautions for that when in my 20s here in the Southern Ohio area. I worked for the largest park district, and I was manager of our lakes. So we had tournaments regularly. And you'd have to have that. You'd have spotters out there because you'd have people hiding stringers or hiding baskets out there pre-fishing to make sure they got their limits
right
together.
Now, dude, you want to talk about crazy right now? About 35 minutes from me is Salmon River, Pulaski, and up north to Watertown, and the fish hatcheries up there. But now all of the salmon are coming through and coming back, and some of them are beat to shit, but people are catching some nice cohos, northerns, all kinds of shit. But guys get hip to hip up there, and people get stabbed and shit. Like someone will get one on, and they'll just go right through cutting people's lines, and fucking guys got $100 bait on or some shit, and then they've been drinking. It gets fucking nasty.
Those guys don't mess around, man. It's especially getting into some of the biggest walleye or cat fishermen, man. They ain't messing around.
Guys go up there just to fight. Like they go up there like New York assholes. Like, some motherfucker better not fucking try it. I'll fucking skin them a lot. Like that attitude is they got that before they even get in the water. So they're just looking for some crazy shit to go down. In the 80s, when I was a kid, it was fucking insane. People would go up to stand on the bridge just when they were coming down to see if guys would fucking fight. Like that was a pastime.
Well, we're kind of talking about that carny shit. People cheating to get ahead. Hey, right now, one of the biggest arguments in sports, Big Ray, he's all over this thing because you got Judge who, broke the AL record for home run. Well, and it's funny because you've got a lot of people out there kind of like, he's still not Big Mac. It's still not so-so. It's still.
And you can get from seventh inning stretch, you guys, the brand new Judge broken record, the shirt that just came in, $35, and the new Yankee hat as well. Limited edition at seventh inning stretch and Cooperstown Connection. I can get them for you. They're going to go fast. Also, Judge used, I posted them this morning. Judge used cleats, game used cleats. They were like $12.95. He's like, take that down. Price had gone up. So
I was going to say, damn.
Yeah, dude. And he's got batting gloves were $300 and that he had used. And now I bet the price is double on them. Now you should have bought them. 2 months ago. You probably could have made double your money overnight, man.
Well, I saw the person who has the ball was offered $2 million already.
Yeah.
That was the first big one out of the gate. But I think
it might be my client, to be honest with you. I know he's probably in the hunt for it. He's got the.
That's what I was like. People were like, "Sell down." I was like, "No, hold on to that thing for a little."
Let me before we get off that topic, because they didn't know about the possible NDA payoff from the other thing, but I just saw this on WrestleZone, and it reinforces it to me that it's true without saying it's true. Tony Khan cannot comment on anything involving CM Punk and the Elite. AEW President and CEO Tony Khan continues to stay mum on the situation involving Punk and the Elite. Punk stunned the wrestling world, yada, yada. We all know about what's up. And the fight. And when asked about it, what he plans to do regarding Punk, he says, I cannot share any of that with you. Khan said, I appreciate and understand that you had to ask. Ariel Helwani continued to press the issue, but to no avail. You can ask. I appreciate that you asked, but I cannot answer that, my friend, Khan insisted. Khan was then asked about what happens next with Omega and the Young Bucks, and a familiar answer was given. The whole thing, I just can't talk about it, Khan said. I don't want to talk about it, but I understand you do what you got to do. So to me, investigation, whatever, what have you, when you give that answer, that's straight up NDAs have been signed, and the guy with the money got his pocket picked, and that's as far as he's going to take it. And we're never going to address any of it, bro.
Maybe it's a good thing that they didn't sample Stevie's suggestion to create a group called NDA and have NDA chants when they're a week later, a month later, they're having them signed everywhere.
Right, man. And that makes me think what other ones might have been signed there before.
Maybe they knew, stuff that was going on. Let's say, we talk about there should be an urgency or some kind of desire to get the program and get this on air without violating any of those NDAs. Would you have a pitch of how to do this, Ben?
I wouldn't even have fucked around. I would have officed them both on Tuesday and said, now we're scrapping it. And you motherfuckers are both, not only are you doing that, you're both fined $10,000 each for what you did. If you would have done it before the Bucks, maybe I would have given you a $2,000 fine. But the fact that this happened on the heels of what already happened, and you guys are now making us look worse, that's $10,000 each that I'm taking out of your paycheck. And then not only that, your match is done for tonight, and you guys are working together in the main event. We've got the tweets chopped up. You get one 1 minute promo each beforehand. And if anybody goes to business for themselves in the match and is stiff with each other, if you don't work with each other every step of the way, and if somebody gets hurt, then we're going to talk about bigger fines, and you're definitely not getting out of your contract. And if anybody, do either of you have a problem with that? I didn't think so. So, now go put a 15-minute banger together, learn how to work, and fucking nobody better be coming back here hurt, because you know why? You're working together next week too, and possibly the rest of this month. And if I see any more tweets that aren't approved about this, then I'm going to fine you $20,000 next time. And then let them fucking see what they do. Like that, you got to hit them where it hurts, and you got to make them small. That's the two things: money and ego. and now I'm the fucking boss. And then when the rumor spreads, what did Khan say? What did he fucking do? What did Hamin tell Khan to do? Or what did Khan tell Hamin to do? and it gets out of, well, they fined me $10,000 and now I got to fucking work with this asshole. And that's what they would both say to their own little camps. And then if they worked and they would get over, hey, we drew a 1.7 tonight. No shit, fuckface, and then they would come with, hey, I got an idea how to keep this Twitter war thing going to make it look real, but I need your approval. You're goddamn right. You need my approval. So now you've humbled them. They're inspired to keep the shoot shit going, and they want to make their money back in t-shirt sales that
so now they're contributing.
You goddamn right. This is how you got to manage talent in this fucking carny ass biz. But instead, we did the wrong thing. We paid them off, said stay silent, made no money off of it, and set a precedent that anyone can pick the pocket the same way. Every move along the way was.
To me, that's the most dangerous thing about this is they've given you a blueprint about how to get the hell out of here.
Got it.
Would this be a good opportunity? Because this is one of the first things that came to my mind, and I went back to it was complete angle and all that. But hell, you might have been with Impact at this time doing their media stuff. But remember, there was like chaos everywhere, and just suddenly out of nowhere, they appointed
Allegedly,
director of authority.
I worked at Impact.
Yes. Well, you did things for them. I guess you got to be paid to work for them, right? But
yeah, well, I eventually.
Okay, but
big lumps. It just took a while.
Hey, you should have contacted one of those. I watch Gunsmoke all day, and you always get those. Hey, if you want one lump sum for a payment of money that's yours, call so and so.
Yeah.
But it reminded me of the time that they introduced as the director of authority, who just comes out and says, "You know what? Cut the shit. I know what's going on backstage. We're splitting problems up." When they brought Cornette out, is this something that they could do here? Come out and say, "Hey, you know what? We're putting someone in charge that makes it look like they're accountable for all of this shit, but does bring it on air."
Sorry, explain this a little bit to me.
We don't have any authority in AEW, which I find refreshing. But maybe
we need somebody to go. Like Tony starts to come out and he's like, "No, you're done. You're fired. Go to I don't want to see you out here anymore." And it's somebody of a veteran or don't give a fuck Vince Russo status.
I was thinking, with a huge pop there that could come out and get that. Russo could do that. A Cornette, but I mean, you got like a Regal in house that would be respected in that kind of fashion.
100% the guy I was thinking of. You know what I mean? And to tell them to sit the fuck down. And then if they don't want to listen, then you got somebody to back you up that nobody's getting through. You know what I mean? So,
and put that on air.
I'm right here. 1 second.
No worries, but put that on air with it.
100% put it on air. Put it on air. That's what you lead the show off with. The ultimate almost firing of Tony Khan and a promo on him of how he's lost control because he doesn't have the respect of the boys. But guess what? I'm somebody who does. And from now on, this is the way it is going forward. You need me to play preschool kindergarten teacher, then I will, and I'll kick your ass back into shape. You're here to play wrestling. You're here to do real wrestling. Then you're going to thrive here. Test me and fuck around and find out.
Imagine opening with that, and then immediately, oh yeah, look at that bad boy. Talk about a run-in.
Yeah, Big Boys Club. I saw you were out there. I had to. Probably my best headbutt from my news Skittles Harvest, horseshoegenetics.com. You guys, my best grow yet. Super excited. Just harvested. It's got probably about 9 more days to dry before we go into curing. So if you guys want the best cannabis seeds on the market right now, we're accepting Cash App, working on Mesh, a couple things to hammer out and some other ways as well. But we can always find a way to make it pay. But I appreciate everybody who's bought seeds already. Russo Swerve photo period available now. New York City Diesel.
That'll get the old creative wheels turning.
Always does, man. No doubt about it.
That'll get the creative wheels turning. I mean, just imagine, though, what we kind of put together. You open up Regal, claiming he is the new authority figure, and then he immediately does what you just laid out. Calls Andrade, calls Sammy out here, and says, "Boys, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah,
we're moving things around. You're gonna get that tag match if you're looking forward to it, but we got more important things to do right now. You two are now in the main event. You're gonna fight this.
Oh, you need to do more than that. You can reference the fight of the Bucks and all that without saying it.
I was gonna say you don't come out and say it, but you reference all that shit.
It, like based on what happened just a month ago. I'm trying to not do Regal here, but
just something
neither of you are respecting this business of this locker room, and we needed the most leaders to step up And both of you are veteran talent, and that's exactly what you didn't do. And now you want to do this, and you show the tweets going back and forth. You're an embarrassment, both of you. And you know what? Tonight, I'm making the match. You want to do this? Well, we're not going to do it on Twitter. We're doing it right here, and get it over, and just take the reins, because they're so weak right now that, wow, what happened there?
I don't know. We got some flashing going on. You paused on me. I still got you. I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, I lost connection to my camera here. Hold on.
Dan, that is some good shit.
Yeah, that is that goddamn pal.
But that gives, all right. So now we're bringing the reality of what people are excited about, what people are talking about, to the ring, to the camera, in front of the camera.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to go into biz for yourself, but I say that sets a dangerous precedent as well. You can do worked shoots a lot easier now, but everybody looks like they're on punishment. You don't want to look like your locker room's out of control, but you know, you don't want to play that card too many times is all, because it still makes it look like you're gaining control back. But if somebody else goes into biz for themselves, now we're just going to keep repeating that. So you got to use it wisely, but if it is a worked version of it, but this shoot version, you're not getting any money out of it. Like, it's ridiculous, bro.
Yo, Jimbo, they need a Kevin Nash in the locker room. Kevin Nash be working the shit out of everybody. He just be taking that money.
There's no Undertaker. There's no Nash. There's no Hall. I mean, maybe there is a Hall, I guess. A couple of them, actually, who like to rib and do gimmicks.
Yeah, so for AEW right now, it's a scary situation for him. I mean, thing could get really out of control fast.
I mean, how much more out of control can you get?
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see till the next incident.
Things like this are dominoes falling, and it creates a lack of confidence in upper management and the ability of the future of the company, and takes a guy who might have been loyal all the way to the end, like a Chris Jericho or a Daniel Bryan or a Moxley, that you really need, and now has them back channeling to go, I'm not going down with the ship here. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be, nobody wants that on them. They'll try and pick as much money up before they do, you know, with not veiled threats, but what's unsaid by wrestlers when asked a question can tell a bigger tale than what's actually said. And real workers know how to do that at a very high level. And all three of those guys I mentioned probably do.
Another just bit of news here. I've got some other headlines that we can work into conversation about the show. But we also do have just coming out here over on the Ink, picking this thing up, that looks like some of the rumors that they were eager to try to get Jeff Hardy back on television, they're going to see it the other way here and realize that might be a complete disaster to move him forward. Smart, Ben, to hold off on it, or even smarter, maybe to never bring him back.
Sorry, who are we not bringing back?
Jeff.
Never bring him back. I mean, how many times the guy's a nice guy, and he's obviously got mad issues addiction-wise. Why would you?
I think the best thing, if you really care about him, the best thing you can do is not bring him back.
Yeah, his body is broken. I mean, you're like, why? Because he's going to be on the road and possibly around bars and drinking and stuff like that. Sure. What's worse? Or that, or you're an addict and you're at home on your compound doing God knows what. You know what I mean? Building a still in the backyard. Like, Carney's going to Carney, the addict's going to addict, man. Hopefully he can get his life together. But what value is there in Jeff Hardy right now? That was another huge black eye on the company, right? Like, you're going to keep rewarding people who are putting your company at risk and bringing you the worst PR for what? So people can come out here and fucking do some 1998 shit. Like, it's just not there, bro. And not bringing them back sends a better message of, you had a chance, you fucked it up, and you need to clean your life up, and we're not here to be your rock bottom. So go get your shit together. Good luck to you. You're a legend. We love what you gave to the business, but you embarrassed us, and you explained to me how we're supposed to save face by bringing you back. At least Moxley got out before he did anything like that and got his shit together. I got to tip my hat to him for that. That's a guy you can bring back and
Well, he's
hopefully
not. He's an habitual offender that's actually been out there
could have been.
breaking. Could have been.
Didn't get caught, maybe, but very well could have been. At least he it didn't take a big bad happening to send him to go to do that. You know what I mean? Like that hurt the company. He just needed that time and get his shit together, and hopefully he can stay that way for his family. But no, dude, there's no value in that. I just even think about when it happened in Impact a decade ago, and they sent him out. Dixie sent him out there. He couldn't even fucking stand up, and to see Sting like looking at him, you're just like, what the fuck? Instead of going, no, sit down. You're not going out. Bobby Roode, you're an awesome worker. You fucking are ready to go at any time. Look like $1 million. Get out there. Go win the fucking title. Like, instead, they just pushed him through the curtain, and the walking out on WWE at the end where they said, oh, he passed the drug test or whatever. Obviously, something is not right. Why would you risk it again? I mean, you just say 3 strikes, you're out. What are we on? 7 strikes, 8 strikes. He gets a whole inning.
Yeah. So kind of speaking of, people with this troubled past that need to be away from the business. Do you know anything about this SWF Live Pro Wrestling in North Jersey?
Say it again. Which one?
It's the SWF Live Pro Wrestling. I'm not exactly sure what the SWF is because it just says SWF Pro Wrestling, Live Pro Wrestling, but they're out of North Jersey, New Jersey.
No, I haven't worked for them. I only worked for another Jersey company, but I know the graphic. So
okay. I noticed on the poster
Blaze has worked for him.
I think I've seen him there. That Courageous Christina that I know you used to work shows with.
I worked at Titan
with her. Okay, so that's maybe where. But anyway, they're at North New Jersey. These idiots, and we were wondering who was going to be the first scumbag to cross this line. I mean, this isn't just Carney. This is an absolute scumbag promoter. He's bragging right now, having all this fun that he's inducting into the SWF Live Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Like anyone gives a shit about that he's putting Sonny in. And that's the big thing that he's hyping. I had stumbled across it in one of the promoter groups that I'm in.
Wow. Good for him. Like, what does that do for his credibility in this business?
It's so bad. He's sitting there trying. Oh, we should just look at what she did for the business. She's good to me. She's good. It's to the point. A lot of people are putting pressure on the talents of get off this show. You don't want to work for this motherfucker.
Yeah, like this guy's obviously a self-sabotager. Like anybody with any business sense would be like, why would I why would you tie yourself to a toxic property, bro? You know what I mean? Like you're not going to see OJ doing McDonald's commercials.
Yeah. It's just I happened to stumble upon it. I was looking in the comments and I was going to say something. He's already getting crucified.
That's some. We know what this is. It's some East Coast old school Howard Stern shock factor that this guy's trying to do, early '90s Stern stuff. And there's guys that will forever be stuck in that mentality. I like some of that. Don't get me wrong, but like I said, it's about timing, right? And this is it's in bad taste and in bad timing. And I can go for bad taste and groaner jokes, but if it doesn't hit the right way, you can feel it. You know what I mean? Like before you say it, like you can judge it. Some of these guys have no self-awareness and they do this shit thinking it's going to be cute. And then when they do it and get any reaction, they double and triple down on it. But their scope of what it was going to do to them and do to their company, you might as well fold and close up shop now. Like, who's going to want, but at the end of the day, indie workers will take a fucking booking. And then when people go, oh, you work for that fucking asshole, you're like, yeah, he's a fucking idiot. Da, 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 da. But the envelope is there. And then we whore ourselves out and go on to the next one. So you can't fucking control other people's stupidity, bro. It's America. You have the right to be a fucking moron.
Absolutely. I'm just blown away that It was a matter of time before someone did it, but actually when you see it, it's like Jesus. But
Yeah.
Boy, Ben, I think, hey, great conversation, getting it going. Let's get ready to light that fuse, jump in as the celebration 3 years of AEW Dynamite coming from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Getting it going here.
Killed me out of the gate. Fucking somebody in the chat last night, AEW self-help group goes, I think, whoops.
Group.
Is that there's 18 minutes of overrun tonight. I go, whoa, fuck, what'd you say? God damn, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Fuck.
That was one of my biggest things on this is
I might be coming to Vegas in November, possibly.
It's been a while since I've been to Vegas. I used to have an annual trip, first weekend, first round of the NCAA tournament. Like 10 of us would go out there.
Word. It depends on finances after this last trip and everything else. But wife's birthdays are in November and they want to go.
Very, very nice. Very nice. Always a good time in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
But we got the third anniversary here, AEW Dynamite. Yeah, to get things. Maybe the conversation will change my mind again here, Ben. I didn't like last week's show before we started recording. I did not like this week's show. Basically for two things. Every match was rinse and repeat. Every match had post-match shenanigans and run-ins. Every match on this thing.
Well, think about this. They had Andrade and 10 penciled in for probably 12, 15-minute segment, maybe at minimum.
I get that. You got to fill some time here, but still regularly. And maybe that's it. Were they supposed to be on this one or were they advertised for Rampage?
I thought it was this one was supposed to be going down.
Okay. For some reason, I thought that was Rampage, but either way.
Yeah, I could be wrong. Absolutely. I've been wrong before.
I'll look it up here real quick, or the chat can jump in with us on this thing. but either way, this is maybe it's the reason it really seemed obnoxious to me this week, but it's regular. AEW TV matches are way too long. That's why we're not getting enough people on. That's why we're not getting character development or storylines. The wrestling is, I don't need 10+ minute matches for every match.
Here's more, Stooge. Sometimes the boss don't get there till 4 p.m. 4 p.m. If I'm running AEW, I'm there 8 a.m. at the arena, bro. I'm getting everything ready, make sure ring crews got their shit unload in, and we're absolutely getting all of our locations and what we need setups. And I have individual call times. This person 9 to 11. We're shooting your pre-tapes. We'll break for lunch and then we'll come back at 1, and then I'm gonna shoot 1 to 3. This stuff for storyline. Here's my biggest problem with last night's show. These fucking terrible backstage stand in front of the AEW screen with Shivani, and then you were talking shit about somebody,
and they just happen to be right there immediately.
Yeah, dude, it's so bad. That's the number one thing they need to stop doing. And I get it that it's like Mean Gene backstage with Savage or Hogan, and we're trying to do that, but none of these people are Savage or Hogan in any way, shape, or form in the delivery. And we need to have show don't tell things happening. Having somebody walk in and go, "Oh yeah, bitch," or "fucking you're not this," or whatever, and then we're just like, that's the end of the scene. And they walk in and then usually walk out of the scene. Like they just have
the other side.
By, dude. Like that's the most amateur hour wrestling shit. And if you're not there as the director with a plan and call time to show we need action sequences. We need happenings after matches that happen in the locker room, not in the ring every time. You know what I mean? But all kinds of stuff that is really the fun stuff of wrestling that makes the storyline driven to make the payoff matches awesome. And we don't have any of that. The only person who does that is Darby Allin, because he does it on his own fucking time and dime. And his shit stands out.
Good. They're so good.
Yeah. So that the amateur hour express of hey, we'll be at the arena at 4. No. Nope.
Yeah,
First
and
of all,
that 10 and Andrade match was going to be on Rampage. That's why they have switched 10. He's going to be teaming with the Dark Order to take on Death Triangle for the 6-man. And they said they wanted to give them an opportunity before a potential losing his mask or whatever the step was going to be there. That's how they wrote around that.
Mars, what's good? I like this Runts pen, but it keeps getting clogged up. The one I took to me to Mexico, the other one worked fine, but these are the nice plug. I usually don't fuck with extracts and whatnot. I've done dabs once or twice, and that shit is not to be fucked with. I don't know how anybody can be doing dabs every day, bro. That should have put your dick in the dirt, no doubt. I'm a flower guy mainly, but these are nice too.
Very nice. Commentary for this one. We got Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Taz at the desk. We get things going here. First match out of the gate. I want to ask you, Ben, was this match the opening match or the main event you think the more anticipated by the fans? You got MJF taking on Wheeler Yuta.
This is the most anticipated match, even though it's Wheeler Yuta, like a guy who hasn't really gotten over yet, who's very competent in his in-ring acumen, but is missing a lot of key parts as a sports entertainer, or a wrestler. Like, it's interesting, like, because MJF's draw is not wrestling. MJF is fucking phenomenal on the mic and phenomenal at being a chicken shit and getting away and being smart. So nobody really wants to see MJF wrestle until it's time to pay something off. He just needs to have programs where he talks shit and escapes until the kettle boils over and then the match takes place. They did it very well with Wardlow. Him and Wardlow was a great example of that.
I think would have been great here because you have Excalibur putting over. It's been 129 days since MJF's last match. If you could have closed with this thing and have throughout the show have MJF like going to the doctors like, I don't know, I might have tweaked something at the gym.
Yeah, all that, a fave and an injury, all that is in his wheelhouse. You talk tough as fuck, and then something happens where it's just small, but he plays it way up of like, oh my fucking God, like, you know what I mean? Or he has somebody do a Nancy Kerrigan job on him, and it comes to find out that he paid somebody to do a hit on him like Jesse Smollett. So he didn't have to get to the fucking fight, right? But then finally we're going to get to the fight. Like that's all in his wheelhouse. And that's where the money is. No, but I'll tell you one thing. Holy fuck. That power bomb backbreaker was awesome. That was fucking great. It was safe and it looked great, dude. I can't believe I've never seen that, to be honest with you, before.
Yeah, they mentioned to it, the more torque that he put on this thing. But I think, the styles inside of this match, I enjoyed this match. I thought it was great. It was one of those.
MJF's classic punch kick. Well, here's the thing. Wheeler Yuta, I said he's a great wrestler. I mean, he's very competent. But then he's in the corner and he's biting and clawing at MJF's head like he's the heel. So he doesn't get it fully yet either of who he's supposed to be underneath, fighting from underneath, or when he's on top, that it's about not getting that type of retribution, at least not in this match. No way should Wheeler Yuta be biting anybody in the fucking head, bro. Absolutely. And really MJF shouldn't either. That's not the kind of heel he is. Neither of those guys are vicious heels.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, to me, they're both more calculating in their different styles. You got the straight competitor athlete that's going to, that would sit there and throw punches with you, but not bite you. And then MJF is going to be smarter than that.
Right. The most Wheeler Yuta should do is strike back after being hit with closed fist, after Wheeler Yuta tries to wrestle, get struck on until the point of, I got to fight back without using that. And that's when the retribution comes. But I don't know, man. They got William Regal as their goddamn agent. What can I possibly fucking tell them that's going to change things?
We do have MJF obviously goes over here. But this is going to open this up tonight. This is the theme of the evening. We got post-match shenanigans. We've got, they're going kind of for the code of honor, if you will. I mean, these two have a history. We were talking about social media and playing some things up here. It was kind of humorous how this past week MJF goes back into his Twitter vault and pulls out a tweet about Yuta coming into a room when they're out on the road. He's hammered butt ass naked where jumps in the bed and wants them to watch. I can't remember the wrestler at the time, but one of the big guys and wants to watch videos of that wrestler. So it's MJF saying this guy, he is disgusting.
Hold on. What just happened here? There was a tweet where he wanted to get butt naked in a bed and watch some old fucking classic.
Yeah. MJF went to Twitter this week and he went back to like 2018 and found a tweet where him and Yuta were out on the road together because they traveled together. They've been around each other. And he's like, I've been telling you that this guy is dirty and disgusting. And here's the proof. I found this tweet. He mentions it from all those years ago where they're at an indie show and Yuta comes busting into his hotel room, jumps on the beds, jumping around naked saying, let's watch. I can't remember the wrestler. Maybe it was like the Ugandan Giant or like Papa Shanka videos or something like that.
Come on, classic come out.
Yeah. So yeah, he's referencing that to drum up the heat and just be a total dick.
And here's the fucking rib of it. Wheeler Yuta doesn't seem like at first glance the guy who would be doing ribs like that, right? But like maybe like here's a couple things. Carnies, queers, and addicts. That seems like some carny queer behavior, possibly on addiction. But regardless if they're using it, it's funny. But that to me sounds like, where's that Wheeler Yuta? Where's that has more fucking juice in it than anything I've seen before.
I've got it. All right, so this is from 2018. MJF just retweets this to share this. It's when they're part of MLW. So the tweet says, the original one says, last night an intoxicated Wheeler Yuta kicked in my hotel door half naked and jumped into my bed and forced me to watch Viscera matches.
Viscera.
That was a tweet for 2018. So then updated, MJF says, I can't make this stuff up. Poor people are wild.
He might not be wrong in all those accounts.
Then he continues to follow it up here. I guess in some replies here. I've known this man for a long time. He is not a good person.
Yeah, dude. I don't know about that part, but
he's playing to where they're at right now, you know.
Well, you want to tell the truth about yourself, bro. Like an undeniable truth in a scene is always great because no one can dispute it and they know when it's real. And then you can pepper in a little bit of, lie or whatever you want to call it on top of it, like fiction. And it comes off great for the creative side of things.
Absolutely. So in that post-match, we've got here our first shenanigans afterwards. We got Hathaway out there. The Firm is involved. Hathaway hands MJ up the diamond ring. Regal comes out. He's got the brass knucks. We get the square off, and then they walk out.
Sure.
Match 2, we've been building towards this thing. We've had some stories. They've told the story towards this thing over the last couple of weeks. Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal. Again, we've got a little Ring of Honor tie-in here.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Jay Lethal is fucking great. He gets it all. Character, wrestling, timing. Like, that guy is a fucking almost a damn near perfect fucking performer, to be honest with you.
Yeah, really enjoyed this one here. Kind of get the best from both of them. You get what you expect from Darby, but not too crazy. It seems that Lethal kind of keeps him grounded. Good back and forth here. Darby picking up a big win for Darby, I think, here. I think it was much needed for him.
The finish was interesting, but the rolling pin stuff back and forth came off as a little too choreographed because they did it like 4 extra times. So then it became, but then there's, God damn it, I always forget this guy's name. He's a legend from UK, and he did a lot of like the Flying Garbanzo Brothers stuff. I know Colt Cabana took a lot of his offense from him from the 60s and 70s. I can't remember his name. But it felt like one of those guys' matches of like a lot of his stuff was clean. This was fairly clean stuff too, but it's just like, I don't know, like roll, pin them. Okay. Instead they did roll, hold, roll, pin them. And it just is like it's too much for me. It becomes like And now let's watch the choreographed phony wrestling as opposed to got him. No, reverse you, no reverse you pin. Like that just has got a more real fight feel to it. And if you go past that to me, unless you have something really innovative, then I don't like it as much. I don't think you're taking them, you're going beyond the highest point. You're on your way back down the mountain.
Yeah, again, all right, so we have Darby over. Post-match shenanigans, second match in a row here. Darby and Jay were reluctant at first, but he does abide by the code of honor afterwards. We get the handshake.
Yeah.
And Sanjay and them not so pleased with this.
Right, so we're getting the Jay Lethal babyface possible turn. I mean, this is me because, I'm a Nephilim addict. I want to see Big Man do more, bro. The guy's so impressive. Like, I just want to book something around him. Not that I don't like watching Jay Lethal versus Darby Allin. It was definitely match of the night on the show. But the finish could have been a little bit more. And just to get to the point to do a forced Ring of Honor handshake, like, we're so focused on Ring of Honor and they don't even have a TV deal. And our own locker room's falling apart and fucking all these things, bro. It's just like, way too much and everything's way too clouded, and you got to have Excalibur over your shoulder to tell you every goddamn little detail of why this means that, and something happened on a show that nobody watched, and that's why they're doing this now. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, especially this with the code of honor, Jay Lethal, arguably, the icons of Ring of Honor.
Sure, he booked you as a booker.
But you just had a handshake segment.
Right, I agree.
Right,
that's
but
why
you just had a handshake thing. But
all this Ring of Honor shit is too much. And why are we shining? I get it. He owns it. He bought it. And Jericho's the Ring of Jericho champion or whatever now. But why are we trying to shine it on All Elite when All Elite has a lot of its own hurdles to overcome right now?
Well, in a sense, if you're gonna there's a lot of Ring of Honor on this show, but would it made more sense to do that last week when you were in a Ring of Honor town?
No, why are you even running Ring of Honor at all? Like, what is it supposed to mean?
I guess this is kind of close. Ring of Honor was headquartered in Baltimore, which is,
dude.
That's what I'm saying. But it's not connecting with an audience.
Kill Rampage and put Ring of Honor in their spot. It's that easy. What is Rampage doing for you? It's lost 60+% of its audience. Nobody's tuning in after a $2.2 million viewers SmackDown audience. You can't convert more than 500,000 of them. It's not working. But Ring of Honor wasn't getting 500,000 people. So see the win by putting Ring of Honor in there. And if you can maintain that audience, now you've got an actual positive metric to work with and build forward from there. I don't know. Like, when you show up at 4 p.m, what am I supposed to tell you?
Hey, WWE's got rewrites at 4 p.m, and AEW has management.
I want to write them off like that and shit hammer them just because it frustrates me. But the guy's also got a soccer team and a pro football team. So it's easy for me to sit here behind a mic and go, what are you doing? When, dude, the reality is he might be going, okay, I've got to do soccer from 6 this morning till 10. 10 to 2 is NFL. I'm going to go jerk off, take a shit, and eat a sub. And then I got to be at the arena at 4 for fucking to do this wrestling show. Meanwhile, all the guys are fighting and walking out at the same, like, it's easy for me to fucking write it off like that. But his whole life is far different from anything you and I experience every day.
Right, but you got to get to a point where he wears many hats. He's got a lot going on. He's juggling a lot here, but something's got to give at some point.
Yeah, and that's going to be his own sanity and his own health.
Yeah, absolutely. We get our third match of the evening. Before we get into this, we get a bit of a promo here from the Embassy, which I think this is the introduction to the Embassy to a lot of this fan base. And it's Brian Cage. He's not calling it a return. He's calling it truly, this is his arrival. and
it's his arrival with
who's better
three
than
other
Brian?
guys. There's three other guys in the scene, and it's his arrival. Okay.
Yes. So we have Wardlow. Great to see him back in action here, taking on Brian Cage with Prince Nana, the embassy behind him here. My first thought with this match, I saw it even announced going into this thing, and then to see the graphic, to see just the visuals. Why am I getting this on television, free television, without a build? You want to grow an audience? This is what people want to look at in pro wrestling.
And dude, I got to put it over to fucking to Cage and Wardlow. They put on, finally, somebody told these guys how to work the right way, Super Beast style. And this was one of Cage's best matches, where it was just two monsters fucking going at each other the right way and selling each other's sides.
With some great shows of athleticism peppered in there.
Yeah, it was done the right way. Whoever got these guys under control and agented this, my hat's off to them, because this was really, actually, I mean, Jay Lethal and Gimmick were great. Don't get me wrong, but this, you could say, is the best match on the card because of how these guys finally got it. You know what I mean? Like, they worked the 50-50 style of Godzilla and King Kong the right way, and I was happy for him. But if this is his re-debut, don't beat the fucking guy. You got three other guys to do shenanigans with. Let it end in some schmaz or DQ or thrown out or some shit like that. And then you pick the ref up and throw his fucking ass at him too. Like, all that could have been done to get these guys over more. Prince Nana, I'm not familiar with, but that didn't work at all with Brian Cage about we're in the money or whatever the fuck he's trying to do there. Now, that might be his thing.
He kind of has a Hamin-esque gimmick. He's a prince.
I just said that.
He's a prince of some African kingdom and all this.
Is he supposed to be the Nigerian prince that needs money?
I don't think he goes to that extent, but he is a prince. He is a prince.
That's exactly who he should be.
I don't know if they've ever run that gimmick with him in Ring of Honor. But it was that he used his money to come in and buy all the, buy his way in, and he buys these talents.
Because I wanted to be that he's got to be the guy. That's what it's got to be based on. There must be some backstory that he's the Nigerian prince. And if not, my God, man, let's do it. Because I wanted to be like shit on him because of a kind of goofier like gimmick with that with Cage, where you want Cage to really be introduced and shine on his own. But fucking, I could have some good scenes with that guy at the same time, so I don't want to hate on him, and it's that guy's time to shine. So if you got the spot offered, of course you're going to go out and do your best to do what you can do. So it's not on him. It's just that this wasn't the right introduction. And then at the end, they do the heels feed in, get their heat and all that kind of shit. But my man got laid out and he's already down and out. They buried him on night one. At least they waited a week to take Braun Strowman off his feet. So I don't know if that's payback or just misbooking, because the rest of the match was awesome. There was just some choices at the end that I was like, we could have protected everybody a bit better.
Yeah, so it's from Ghana. He's a prince from Ghana. He introduced the gimmick in 2002 Ring of Honor, or 2004 Ring of Honor. And it's just that he was using the wealth from his royal family to kind of buy these towns and all that. But you're right, man. It would have been like if he would have been like,
it's not too bad. I mean, shout out if he's Ghana heritage and he's repping that proudly and all that. But like, the Nigerian prince fucking email scheme is money, bro. Like,
I was gonna say, I don't think they've ever done anything where he's been emailing people from, like, trying to get it from fans and all that. Oh my God,
bro. Like, and he could work that and set up a PayPal, and if he wanted to be a real worker, just keep it. But like, at the end, he could donate it to whatever, like they could hit the sheets. Like, all that money went to, dog rescue or whatever he's passionate about. Who knows? But that would have been a great interactive thing of like, go sign up for my email list now, and then you're going to get the email solicitation every week. And maybe how many of those people, if you got 500,000 on your list, of everybody who's ever bought from AEWshop.com or bought a ticket using their credit card. You got their email and they get a solicitation from that guy. You might be able to convert 1 in 5 and make $100,000. $1 a piece.
Man. And he's like, because it's always, hey, I'll pay you back with those things. You know, show up I'll show up in Cincinnati next week and he just doesn't show up for that show.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah, so we do have, and again, I love they worked the big style. That's my style, 2 big brutes thrown down. You see all the athleticism, the suplex in that you usually get from Cage, but to see that on Wardlow was incredible. And then, the close of this thing, to see Cage eating those power slams. That's what people want to see from professional wrestling.
It was great. It was great. They could have teased it even more, but how they did it was fine. It was good, modern, high-impact wrestling and they sold each other. Even on the fighting spirit punches, they sold it away on each other. They really registered it, and their punches were clean. There was some air in between them, but the way they were selling them was good. There was a lot of good craftsmanship from 2 big guys in here really were selling for each other, and that's something we don't usually see.
So we have Wardlow going over, retaining the TNT championship. Say not a good sign for reintroducing Cage. You just seen what you could have had with him. Post-match, the Gates of Agony is the team that is with the embassy there. They're on the attack. They're jumping Warlord. Cage joins in, but here comes Samoa Joe to make the save. NBC once again has the numbers.
Demon Samoa Joe fucking running from the locker room. Last thing Joe wants to do is a 40-yard fucking dash to the ring. It made me laugh.
And then he's over there wailing on one of the embassy guys, the Samoan dude, wailing on him, and it takes like Cage and the other guy forever to even jump in to get him from behind. So it was like the timing was way off on this. FTR, a huge pop. Again, people want to see them on television. But what is this? Match 3 and our third post-match shenanigans. We can't. Can we just have a match end?
But that's what I'm. See, you said that. You said no that match was on Rampage. I thought they cut that match from this show, and that's why they were adding a lot of this post-match shit into there. You know what I mean? But apparently, it's just figured in. I thought it was excessive because I was like, oh well, that'll eat up 3 minutes.
Don't you figure out some other way to try to do it in every match?
Yeah. Okay. You wrote a show. You and I wrote a show at 4:30 in the afternoon. 2 guys that we had to pull 15 minutes are now fucking suspended, and they're out of the fucking loop for tonight. Right now, We've got to add 15 minutes to a show that you and I spent 6 days working on. That was timed out, craft perfectly. All the breaks were in the right spot. The transition of that to this. Now we got to move 2 matches into another spot and figure out where to put 15 minutes into the fucking show. So that means all other 6 segments need to have 2 minutes added to them right away and give me 3 1-minute pre-tapes. This is how it fucking work on the fly. Now, how do we add 2 minutes to each match? Well, they can pull a minute or 2 minutes more in their heat or work a double heat. They can fucking have a run in at the end and do something. We'll do another run in, but we need to separate them. He's got all this going on in his head, and he's not thinking about getting to the point of I need to separate this run in from this run, and this happens here to book, because he hasn't had to do it until now. So he'll get there in 10 years. His mind will be at that point. But right now, the details get dropped. So, and I'm not trying to shit on you, but you've done dozen shows right in there. And so, like, it'll all start to come when it needs to of rebook on the fly. This guy isn't here, and how we get more time and pull time. Now,
here's the difference.
Indie shows. We just do indie shows. You, and I'm not trying to be a dick, Rick, but fucking working TV where it's specific times. Now you're fucking really scrambling and chopping and having to come up with creative solutions to redo the whole show. And 2 of your storylines have been derailed. This is what being a real booker is all about. Not just like, hey, I booked Immortal this weekend and it paid off 6 months of storyline. Yeah, that's great. But how do you really handle it on TV with real time constraints?
Well, and here's the benefit for me that maybe advice for Tony here. Hey, Beast, here's the problem.
Yeah, man.
Fix this. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to worry about concessions in the merch stand. Yeah. But I'll come back and get whatever you want.
Beast, and I'm not trying to be like I say, undermine you. Man Beast can think on the fly, just like I laid that out there.
That's why he's there.
Yes, but imagine he wasn't, and now you see why.
I don't have TV cameras. Just to me, I still would think, all right, come up with something besides.
It's a whole different monster, bro. I mean, it's fun to book indies and do long term and help guys get it and build stuff, but TV is a completely different fucking monster.
I get that. Completely get that there. So we do have, let me show not mixing anything backstage. We do have the ladies out, and Britt Baker. You want to talk about breaking news here? Some dirt sheet stuff. Britt might be the top dirt sheet reporter here, if you will, this week. Saraya not cleared to wrestle. She drops the bombshell on everybody, and then she gets set up here. Her girls. She's going to be in the corner of Serena Deeb, Jamie Hayter, and they've got the bad girl, Penelope Ford, on their side. Of course, you got Britt and Rebel in the corner there. And they're going to be taking on the team of the AEW Women's Interim Champion, Toni Storm, Athena, and Willow Nightingale, who have Saraya in their corner.
Yeah, man, this was really good. And talking to Deeb that afternoon, I go, please just don't let anyone talk you into doing something that could get you hurt. And they all worked very well and safe in this match from what I saw, bro. And they had the big high spots tonight. They did a double waterfall spot where they went over it and then they came back the other way. It was very well crafted and put together. Everybody shined. There was a couple, one or two spots that timing was like, all right, we got to tag, get in, tag, do this. That was a little off, but there was a couple that were spot on. And I think Toni Storm is another one whose wrestling acumen has really gone beyond what she was in WWE. And usually you don't get to say that about AEW talent that have come from WWE, to see them at a higher level than when they performed at WWE. And then Serena was over, man. It's DC. It's her backyard. It's where she grew up, and the crowd knew it, loved it. And Serena's got to be a heel, so she's just doing fire up the crowd, but in an angry kind of let's go, like fucking I'm pumped in the moment kind of way, which in her character definitely can work. And you know, Taz.
That's a good point. It's a good point because I didn't really know that was her backyard. Yeah. So it was smart because I'm thinking, you know, there's not a lot of Serena in this match. They focus a lot on Ford and Willow, but it makes sense. You don't want that crowd end up rallying behind the heels if you got her doing too much stuff.
And Deeb towed the line when she had to. She was part of the workhorse of this. I think the workload got split up pretty evenly in this, to be honest with you. All the girls shined the right way. They all got their offense and cut off the right way. It was very well done. And I was impressed. And it's just when I see those graphics of Deeb with all these other people in rings, I go, oh, fuck, please don't let somebody do some stupid shit. And the choice of Willow going over was a good choice because it didn't really nobody who's already over like Toni Storm or Deeb in the crowd needs to get it. Her getting the pin was absolutely a great call. So I loved that. And then the whole time I'm going, man, couldn't Nia have lost just enough weight to be at Willow's size? Because Willow's an impressive athlete, bro. And Nia would just look kind of half sloppy. Could you imagine if Nia got into the shape that Willow's in right now and came back to be part of the bloodline? Wow, she would be fucking the top woman draw in WWE, bro. Like
day one, immediately walking back in. Day one-ish.
Day one-ish she would be, dude. And I like Willow's energy. I think there's money on her as well as I don't want to say a plus size girl. She just built like a bigger woman. That's all. And I like that. And especially when I see Dakota Kai versus Candice LeRae at like 98 pounds, 5 foot nothing. Like come on. Willow would eat both of them up in a second. Same with Jade Cargill in a shoot fight. You know what I'm saying? So I like
she's
that.
got a good energy too, about a likable vibe.
Yeah, dude. You can just feel that come through the camera. I'm sure in person, that's just her natural chi. So I like this match too. So we've had good matches on this show. MJF Yuta was good. Wardlow and fucking Big Man was good. And so was Lethal and Darby. And now here we are. So 4 good matches, but the promo segs in between just feel, like I said, that's the number one thing that's got to go from these shows. They're all just look so.
We do have a little bit of a melee here that allows Willow. She hits the doctor bomb on Ford, picks up the win.
Yeah.
Then it's just you're waiting for it after the match. Okay, you're waiting, but this is where you see all hell's going to break loose because you got what 10 to 12 people out here.
Sure. And we got to do the shit at the end with Saraya. But you know what? I also got to put over not just her sex appeal because she's very attractive, but like her wrestling acumen, Penelope Ford's timing, and that has improved greatly. And I wouldn't doubt if she's training all the time. If you were to compare somebody else who's from their start at AEW to where they are now, her wrestling acumen is tenfold where it was before. So the cameramen get the close-up coochie shot and all that, so she gets over. That's one thing that WWE doesn't do because we still, even though we say we're TV 14, we're not. AEW still gets those tape trader masturbator shots in while telling the integrity of women's wrestling. They still sell a little bit of the sex appeal, and WWE needs to do more of that, absolutely, because their girl wrestlers definitely aren't getting over with wrestling straight up. So I think AEW does that better than WWE, absolutely. And if it's 18 to 49 demo of tape trader masturbators, then fucking you better give them a little ass shot at when they go by Jamie Hayter's cheeks are out. She's smart to sell some ass there. Can she get in and whip ass? Yeah, but show her butt and that guys go, oh, look at that thing. Yeah, like that's money, bro.
She had a perfect shot of that opening match. She takes herself out immediately. And what she do? She goes over on the hard cam and starts stretching, bending down, doing squats right there. So it's right
Velvet
there.
Sky, Velvet Sky 101, bro. Velvet Sky 101.
What are they? What is that piece of gear called that the girls wear now? That everyone's wearing them that accentuates, lifts the cheeks. The straps on the top of the thighs.
I don't know what that is. The jock strap ass cheek gimmick. I don't know what that is.
You see them everywhere now.
I was at the grocery store yesterday. 4 women had them on walking around.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. The girls did a great job here. Saraya feeds in, and after the Stooge report, which was the Stooge report I had heard that she's not cleared. This is the interesting part to me. She gets into it with Britt Baker, only to then, put the hit on Rebel. But she's physical and in the ring. So is she cleared by a doctor? One.
That's why I really like this. I like the setup, the match, and then the intrigue afterwards.
Right. Because the Stooge was that she wasn't, like the real Stooge that she wasn't. So that means either that was a lie and we got, like, some of us got worked, and they put that out there, or they've hired a quack doctor who will clear anybody. Matt Hardy, you don't have a concussion. I just looked into your eyes. You don't have one, right? Like that level. Or
they got the NFL guy that got Tua approved.
Yeah, Tua's. Yeah, right. Or they got her to sign a fucking what do you call it? Disclaimer that I will not sue if I'm hurt doing this because I'm addicted to wrestling and I need to get over. One of those 3 things happened. Either we got worked, they got a quack doc, or she said, you know what, baby girl, I won't sue if I break my fucking neck. And I'm leaning towards the third one because you can't give her the mic. She's had the mic twice. And the reason they did that and why I heard, because she's going to be hot if I stooge shit. So I'm not going to, but why on their debut would that be her house and you got 3 heels and nobody's beating the shit out of her? You know what I mean? Like, because she wasn't cleared and maybe she still isn't, but I think now she might have signed a disclaimer because she had 2 promos and both of them went over like a fucking fart in church, baby girl.
We still got the it's my house though after the match.
But it wasn't. It was Serena's house. it was Deeb's house. You heard them chanting Deeb. They weren't going Soraya or Paige. Like they were yelling Deeb. That was Serena's house last night. And it was interesting to me that she wasn't completely involved in the finish, but I still liked how all this went.
Backstage, we have Jose, the assistant. That's a great name. Tells Private Party that he knows Matt Hardy has been trying to recruit them back. Then Roosh, he kind of chimes in and says, tonight they need to do the right thing. Of course, this is
all this sucked. This was all
for
trash.
Hangman versus Roosh coming up later in the night.
This is all dog shit. Go. These are the exact scenes that
not dog shit. We get the opposite of it here. Tremendous. No. As we go to the next segment, tremendous in-ring segment. It's National Scissoring Day, Ben. Yeah. Scissor me, Ben. Come on. A great segment from these guys. I love it. High energy crowds into it. They give a good, powerful message. You know.
When's the last time you've seen WWE crowd go crazy for something like this? You know. And Bowens gets to shine and do, subtext gay jokes, that scissoring's a handshake between two close friends, all that kind of shit. That was funny and well written and got over strong. And then Billy Gunn takes the mic and they give him kind of his props for the DX stuff without saying it, and he puts it over that he's going to fuck up Swerve after Swerve comes out and tries to get over. But Swerve really, he was set up not to get over. He did his heel bit, but it was tough to match the energy of the babyface stuff that's going on, So, but Daddy Ass makes the match for him and Swerve next week, I think.
Next week, or maybe it was for Rampage. But
it might have been Rampage. But this segment's over as fuck, regardless, dude. People got big fake scissors and they're putting them together and the crowd's with it big time. And the rap is over as fuck. I mean, this is.
Well, I like the message here. It was, hey, they even come out and say, we are in a place of great divide. But no matter who you are, you can stand with the Acclaim. We'll bring people together. Yeah. We can go beyond this left and right and political, all this bullshit stance and what era you're from. Their message was, we'll unite you. And I thought that was
the energy. The energy was very DX during its prime. And this all felt like Billy Gunn to me, like showing all these guys how to get it. You know what I mean? It all worked. It all really felt familiar energy wise. And I put a lot of that on all these guys. They all had to deliver. But the setup and the way it went down was, and the trading of focus felt like those days of Hunter's got to get his shit in, Sean's got to get his shit in. We'll set something up. We'll all take a swing at it, knock it out of the park, react, then pass it over to Dog to do his bit, and then off we go. Like the format was really good.
Now, I think, you're talking about that very DX feel to this thing. They drop some Easter eggs in there. They're I don't see them taking shots. They're having fun with it here.
That's what DX would do, right? They
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm saying it feels just like this. And Scissor Me is just the new fucking suck it, right? Fucking it's that version of it. It's something a little dirty, something funny, and that you can do in public. That is like whatever with some other wrestling fan. You do the fucking.
I did.
Mega power scissor if you need to, like fucking all that shit, bro.
You had to like even Swerve mentioning that, oh great, now the scissoring, just like kids were getting suspended from school 25 years ago for crotch chopping and stuff. Now it's going to be scissored.
Why wouldn't you want to? That's brilliant marketing, and that's Billy Gunn 100%. Just good artists create, great artists steal and make it their own. He stole from himself and made it its own for them, bro. Like it works. And
as hot as they are now, because we are getting it in the watch along. I'm sure you're going to be talking about it with Stevie on the 10th, October 10th, Monday Night Raw. They're celebrating 25 years of DX How big would it be for them to get Billy Gunn there?
It would be great.
Be a
I mean,
big move, right?
if you were talking Forbidden Door and doing something good, like he definitely should be there. That'd be awesome. And then if he came out and he scissored with him, like, you know what I mean? And Shawn and Triple H was like, I can't, you know. But him and Dog did it. Like there'd be there's funny possible moments there, but I don't think you'll see them, and it'll be more of a march them out nostalgia shit from WWE when the story should be told by other people of the influence that DX had on them. And then they come out after all the accolades. And I put over on Russo brand, I would even have them do an old school satire piece where they dress like other people, but I'd have them dress like themselves 80 years from now. So you don't rip on them like, oh, they're just nostalgia marching them out. Like, let them say we're too old for this shit in a very Danny Glover, funny, satirical way. There's also, like, I asked Stevie, I go, is there an opportunity to have new anti-heroes who go against them? You don't got to call them DX2 or whatever, 2.0, but, you know, to start that, to be like, you guys were the anti-establishment. Now you're all in power. Like, what hypocrites you are. Like, what heels can we march out to do that and ruin that time and get that over? So some very interesting conversation on the Friday Locker Room, available at channelattitude.com, HMG brand exclusively. A 2-hour and 10-minute show this morning with Stevie and I. And
what did
Jay
you think
Hall
with the Mark Sterling involvement?
Jay Hall wants to mega scissor me, bro. I think Mark Sterling is fucking funny, and I like what they did with scissors. And he has a rock in his hand, and rock beats scissors. And Mark Sterling comes out and go, and paper beats rock. And he's the fucking lawyer with the papers. And then he even gets his joke in at the end that everybody wants to scissor me, daddy, or whatever the fuck he said. And he's wearing a pink suit to match the Acclaim's pink. So it looks like he's putting himself there and going into biz for himself a little bit. I thought this segment worked from top to bottom.
Yeah, well, and now that I'm thinking, yeah, that if they can get Daddy Ass next week as part of Raw, it'd just be great to have Road Dogg even come out with open up like, "Yo, listen," he's the original rap guy.
Yeah. What if they came out as the Acclaim? That would be fucking funny, bro. Like, if you were gonna really open the door, the Acclaimed would be the way to do Forbidden Door with that.
It would be good. Let me get back to the results here. Okay, then we got we wrap up everything in there. We get a tape message to Dark Order, discusses their upcoming match for the trios on Rampage. We also backstage, we have Madison Rayne, the coach, Madison Rayne. She's putting over Sky Blue as a rising star. They're interrupted by Anna Jass and Tay Mello. They set themselves up for a match coming up on Rampage as well. There's a lot of setup there for Friday night. That leads us in to Hangman Page versus Roosh. Ben, this one just didn't go too long here. I don't know.
Roosh,
quick finish out of no.
Roosh needs to get back to Puerto Morelos. There's a pharmacy there. I know, $450 for about 7 weeks because he went. He dropped
our own
ass, bro, in the last fucking 5 weeks. He was gassed as fuck with back knee, and now he. No, I'm not saying he's soft as Wonder Bread, but definitely can see when guys are taking advice and not taking advice.
So match itself, I guess not a whole lot to take over. This is more kind of a building up the challenger, right? Hangman is a couple weeks away here in Cincinnati for the AEW championship. Hangman real quick to take advantage of an opening, hits the buckshot lariat for the win. I guess this is more about, you got Private Party now comes to the ring. They're kind of stalking, if you will, but here comes Jon Moxley. Maybe to even up the odds, whatever it's going to be. We end up getting a nose-to-nose standoff here between Mox and Page. Mox, he likes Page. He respects Page. He's been waiting for this opportunity. He knew that at some point this was going to come to a head, but he reminds him when that bell rings, he doesn't respect anything or anybody, and we're going to have a fight. He goes to leave. Page says, if you're so eager to fight, well, why wait?
Yeah, no, I like that Paige tried to rethrow down the gauntlet, but that made Mox like pull back. So we had some weird baby tossing the grenade back and forth type stuff. I liked it. I thought it worked at the end here. Private Party. Sure, they're nice guys, but they're not over to like really hold anybody's interest in a storyline right now. You know, they can do crazy good flips and shit, but how are we going to make them into I'm not just trying to go stereotypical, but like Street Profits level over group, you know what I mean? And they're not right now. We need to focus on that, and trying to stalk in and have Matt Hardy be our manager again ain't gonna fucking do that. So I think it'll be a good program between Mox and Adam Page, but we got to find what the heat is. You know, what's the heat between them?
Yeah, another thing that Bernie DC mentions here. I mean, Rouge hits the straitjacket power driver. There was a lot of power drivers for false finishes on this show.
Why not? I mean, Paul Orndorff could never win with it. Why should fucking anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, it was all over this show. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the problem with the agents, bro. Agents need to people need to not be just throwing pile drivers like as falses.
It's a move that's so devastating that promotions have banned it, and you're kicking out of it in damn near every match.
And that's because we're getting there at 4 p.m. and there's no meeting where somebody's going, what's your finish? Okay. What's your heat on? Okay. What's your falsy? Pile driver. Oh, we were going to do the pile driver. Well, it means more in their match, so let them do it. For your falsy, I want you to do fucking Michinoku driver or Death Valley driver. You know, like that's people not having the pre-show meeting, so we don't repeat heats and we don't repeat spots, so we don't have 5 enziguris on one fucking show. We only have 1, maybe 2.
Absolutely. I'd want to go back to the box real quick. I did like the shout out there. Called it his home arena, drinking under the bridge. I've drank under that bridge before. So,
well,
I've been in a shanty town down there before when I was walking back from northern Kentucky. So
you can be AEW champ too, then I guess.
Yes. It's coming next week, baby. Next week's show, I can show up with the belt.
Just got to wait for more people to fight backstage. Eventually, they're going to get to us. We're going to get on the roster eventually. There ain't going to be nobody left.
The technicality, man. Shit. Yeah. And this is what you kind of alluded towards here earlier, talking about these terrible backstage interview segments. You got Willow Nightingale again. She's showing some energy here. She has that vibe about her. She's here. She's got a big moment. Ride that wave. She's going to challenge for the TBS championship, not at Rampage Friday, but following Rampage at AEW Battle for the Belts. That's going to be a special feature coming at you Friday. But guess who's just happened to be walking by, Ben? 2 seconds after the challenge is laid out, here comes the baddies to accept the challenge.
As batty as it gets, bro. Like, it's Willow Nightingale's moment to be made. She gets made. We see the positivity and let her make the challenge. And she's like, I've been on a roll and I really want a shot at that TBS Women's Championship. So Jade, I'm asking, if you think you got what it takes next week to step up and face me on Rampage, I don't even want to fight you for the title. Let's just go. Let's just see if she wants to, just a proving ground match. But you don't need to step on her. Like, that's her moment. Let it hit. Let her have the win, have the promo, and we edit. Don't we wait till next week, or we wait till Rampage or online, what have you, to let Jade have a response to that. And we show Jade with one of the baddies stooging it off on the phone or whatever, and just like, this bitch, you know what I mean? And puts it over. And then she's watching it, and then we get a response right back at the camera. None of this seems real. That's way more real in how things would go in the challenge and response of information, as opposed to you're standing 3 feet away and walk into the shot. That's amateur hour, bro. It's so bad.
Yeah, what kills us at the very end is just, immediate, really, she's just standing right there. They just happen to be walking by. But was the 38 and the 1 and 38 and 1 line that they tried to get over at the end of it.
Yeah, dude, whatever. Cut the shit.
Back in the ring with the way that we've been seeing everything this evening, I was gonna say this is my favorite match of the night. Luchasaurus over Del Sol goes out there and does what he's got to do. Squash. A monster. Looks menacing. They get the job done. I'm like, this is it. They got this one. They hit the home run with this one. And then Jungle Boy gets involved. So again, we've got post-match shenanigans. No reason for him to be out there right now. Save that for later. Keep your monster hot.
And why wouldn't your monster just killed somebody and now he's scared to get in the ring because it's 3 feet higher because Jungle Boy? Why wouldn't you fucking feed right in and kill him right there? You're not. That's what a monster would do. You know, it just things like that are bad choices, bro. I had it on AEW self-help group and I just put the 90210 theme behind it. I just put it made the segment a lot better with
yeah, I was really looking forward to his got him up. I'm picturing it just Del Sol flying with that going on, but I was looking forward to continue that. Just show Luchasaurus throwing people like that, devastating them with those just tosses outside of the ring.
That's what it should have been, though. Is like you could have had Jungle Boy run in and check on Del Sol, and fucking Christian fucking cranks him from behind, and then Luchasaurus picks him up and fucking launches him too. These baby faces want to stay up and stay so strong all the time. No, it's your job to get killed and get empathy and get heat. He's the fucking monster. Nobody goes, come on, Godzilla, I'll fight you, you fucking pussy. Godzilla go, oh, really? Die. And
the guy flying the planes, no selling it. The plane just keeps coming back.
Like, come on, you bitch. Oh, okay. All right. I guess I'm a bitch then. They just don't understand that they need empathy and they need big spots that are like, okay, you came in to do the heroic thing, but it wasn't the right, you weren't ready for battle, right? So, and I don't know because I missed a week. How does Luchasaurus back with fucking Christian? Last I knew, he had turned heel, then turned back baby 2 weeks later with Jungle Boy. Now he's back heel again with Christian. I don't know when that happened.
No, that was just like a swerve. That was a little bit back. I don't know if they had been on. Yeah, because it was just that was all.
It was just mind games. It was just mind games to lull him in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the big thing is because Luchasaurus hit him with a devastating. I wouldn't say the power bomb, but it was like the razor's edge onto the diamond plated steel that's up there on the set, and you could see. I mean, and Perry goes to social. You could see where it's in print. I mean, he took it good. So there's no reason he should sell that. And then that's what I thought he was going to do to Del Sol, toss him onto a ramp, devastating like that, keep doing that to people, and then had the payoff for Jungle Boy. But like you said, he's got to come back looking strong 1 week or so, 2 weeks later, or something like that.
To be on the sell, you took that bump. Get max value out of that fucking sick bump, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, so
you fall and twist your ankle on the sidewalk. How long's your ankle hurt for?
Wow.
Yeah, could be 5 days to 2 weeks. You think fucking getting lacerated open on some metal steps isn't going to hurt worse than that? Nah. Get your fucking mileage out of these bumps, you fucking idiots.
Take a salt tablet and walk it off.
Jesus Christ.
Then we do have our main event is here, and this is presenting the Jericho Appreciation Society. You got Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Where they wrote this thing, they have Garcia on both teams, but Jericho and Sammy, they're out first here. Then they send Garcia out. He's got his music, but he has the backdrop. Doesn't have the usual Jericho Appreciation Society. Then Danielson out here. Pretty fast-paced, hard-hitting. A couple things in here I just didn't make a lot of sense. One of the big ones is Sammy. Again, trying to get back up and look too strong. He doesn't sell worth shit. No, and especially, the one
in this spot too with Daniel Garcia and doing the sharpshooter, which I'm not sure why so much, but like there's something in this match that really just pissed me off, and it shows me that these guys aren't ready for TV, and that they think because of how the Bucks used to wrestle on the Indies that it's all right, and it's simple things that will have guys like Taz, JR, Regal, and the guys you claim to love, fucking from Jericho to Bryan Daniels to whoever, like rolling their eyes at like, this kid's fucking rotten. And it comes when you get super kicked in the face, you no sell, hit a fucking clothesline, and that's your double down. You cannot take and do, like, if you're doing that and you don't understand why that's wrong, you shouldn't really be on TV. Like, you really aren't ready at a psychological level to understand why that is so fundamentally stupid in wrestling. Of, let me take what was once a finisher of possibly the greatest wrestler ever, and not just fucking, not even like register it, no sell it, to then hit a clothesline and then fall down and play dead. Like, nobody fucking gets knocked out in boxing. Or Stevie said, like, that's the equivalent of like Tom Brady getting sacked in the backfield, but then standing up and throwing a touchdown. Like, it don't work. It's not the way things are. And there's 50 double downs. There's obviously the shoot, reverse, go off, duck one, come back, double clothesline. That's a simple and safe one that looks good. Rip would have us do shoot, reverse, shoot him into the corner. You follow him in like you're going to clothesline. He takes a front buckle, comes back in. The back of his head hits your forehead, and you both go down that way. He's selling his chest. You're selling, I came in, but I wasn't ready for that noggin knocker, right? Dre Blitz used to do a fucking duck one, come back through, and to be flying headbutts. Like, you're both going for crossbody. Double crossbody's a good one too, but Dre would do it on the head and spin out. It would look fucking crazy. Those are real double downs. What these guys are doing in a main event is bastardizing wrestling to the point of going, the audience might not know it, but that has a psychological effect. When we say psychology, your mind should go, how did that guy just take what I know is a knockout kick finish, then hit a big move, and then play dead all of a sudden like he's knocked out? That doesn't make sense in my psyche. And that kid doesn't understand that, apparently, yet.
Well, inside to this, we're talking about the pile drivers. At least 2, maybe 3 pile drivers that didn't lead to anything here. They had the double scene with the yes elbows and the submissions where they're just ground and pound.
That I liked that.
But then they follow it up. They got Sammy up on the middle rope. He does a backflip, lands on his feet, and no sells all of the previous.
Yeah, that's
5 minutes. He's sitting there. He's fired up, kicking people.
That's rotten as fuck. That's rotten. There's no excuse for it.
Yeah, and it's. I think what put him down was the double backflip clothesline. It was eventually put him back down.
Somebody had to hit it, you know.
Yeah. So it just and people, it's athleticism. No, it takes you out of the moment of that disbelief, buying into it.
You're just not the true level high artist that you claim to be at this performance art. When you do things like that, when guys have the crowd into it and they're working a heat on you, but then you, what we call Superman up, and you're indestructible again. And just because you want to do some cool flippy shit, so a very small demographic can go, moveset, he's fucking the most athletic. Well, you claim to be the smartest fans ever, but you're obviously a complete dipshit because you're more impressed with a backflip no sell. Instead of going, why is he no selling after working all that heat? A real fan, someone with a real wrestling mind would go, why is this guy doing all this athletic shit that should be in his original shine, but he's doing it in his comeback? That's the biggest thing. And I don't even know if me saying that registers with anybody really listening now, but in a match, the way it started out after introductions, you shine the baby face. That means you show that he's a better wrestler than you, that he has cool shit, that he looks cool doing it.
Gives the heel a reason to cheat, right?
And then the heel, and he can out wrestle the heel. The heel cheats, does something dirty, punch, kick to get on top. Then you work your heat on them, and then you give them a small comeback, something to keep them alive. And usually that's them fighting from underneath, even though they're slightly injured and you've been working heat on them. So the crowd gets behind them. Then you shut them down again and work your main heat on them. So that body part should be hurt. So then when their main comeback comes before the finish, they're selling what that heat was. They did that with these fucking strikes and all that. And during his comeback, he's fine and no selling it. If he wanted to, he should have gone up to the ropes and then been woozy because he just took a bunch of fucking head stuff, right? And then they come to get him, and he could do something Hurricanrana-esque out of that while reversing what they're trying to do to get heat on him. But instead, nope, fuck all that heat. I'm doing my shine shit in my comeback. Okay. Well, you just fucking took our match from an A+ to a C-. So thanks for that. Hope it was great getting your shit in, killing all the fucking psychological reality that we tried to put into this match.
And you mentioned that we got the sharpshooter there. A very awkward finish trying to get in the place for the title shot to the head.
Yep. We're out of position on a lot of stuff on this.
That one, they were overly out because it took them a while to get anywhere close to where Jericho could extend enough.
And I'm not trying to be a dick because I like a lot of those ESW guys and Buffalo guys and gals, Buffalo kids, Pepper and Cherry, all of them. But Daniel Garcia came right from the Indies, ESW. He's not trained for TV, and it shows. You know, he's around a lot of TV guys, and he's getting better in ring. We need to work on personality and timing and acting. But when you're over in the Indies because you can do these moves or whatever, that's fine. But if you don't know TV positioning and where you're supposed to be on things, guys are chasing you for the shots and people are out of place for certain things. And Daniel Bryan's not one of those guys. Daniel Bryan's in place for everything and making
Let
it
me
look
ask you.
good.
I noticed something that's right along with this in that match. When they did have the double locks on, they got the double submissions and they're going with for the yes elbows. Brian had to turn himself to the hard cam.
Dude,
where Garcia turned himself the other way.
He did. He turned the wrong way.
Now, I actually had that note at the end to ask you.
That's exactly what I was.
Is the money shot both of them on the camera, or is it one way so the whole crowd can see it?
No,
both on camera.
Fuck the fucking crowd.
I was thinking in my head like maybe that's what they're thinking, but I was like, why aren't they both on the hard cam to get that money shot?
No, they missed it, and that's what shows an amateur versus a professional, bro. To be honest with you,
okay.
That's
what I thought. But I was like, am I overthinking this?
No, you're on, and to overthink it of is he playing to the live crowd? Yeah, he was, because that's what an indie worker does. Is play to the live crowd because that's all they know.
It drives me crazy.
It's almost not his fault though, bro. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be like he sucks, doesn't know. Like he just don't know.
All indies, because you probably see this. Like you let them know, hey, if we're giving you time for a promo, or when you do your pose for your little thing, do it where we got our hard cam on you. If you want to do it a second time for the audience around you, that's fine. But you're killing us for any promotional shit by going and showing us your back.
Yes, right. Exactly. We have no beauty shot for our recaps and things along those lines, you know, and that was the beauty shot highlight reel spot. And it'll take him going, fuck, I should have been turned around so I could be right next to my hero, Daniel Bryan, doing the yes thing and had been a moment. Now we don't have that footage. And that's the difference of the mindset of me sitting next to Al Snow for 2 years versus what we see on this show with nobody correcting it. And then hopefully somebody corrected him on it so he gets it right next time, or they just keep letting him hang himself to go, see, this kid's not ready for it. Remember what I said? It's what you don't say. Like you can look at if two veteran workers were at Gorilla, if Power and I, if Revolver or Beast and I were at Gorilla and we wanted that shot and like we envision it in the match and he's turning around doing it to that, Power would be, what the fuck? Tell him to turn around to the referee and get him into position. But it was a little too late, kind of. And Beast and I would probably just look at each other and go, and you don't even need to say it. We know exactly what the other one's thinking. And like I said, the kid don't know. And Cody, you can watch Cody in those early AEW days working with all these indie guys, and Cody will position them and make sure they're there for the hold that, and Cody is Al Snow's probably number one fucking creation, to be honest with you, when it comes to TV trained. So that's where the difference is. And I don't know if fans see that or not. You have a pretty good education, but workers see it, and the guys producing TV definitely see it.
And ultimately, who screws the most is Garcia, because he lost arguably one of the greatest money shots of his career right there.
100%. 100%. There's only one way to learn, bro. The hard way.
Yeah. Bid overall, what did you think of the show in total?
Yeah, I mean, the 2 hour and 18 minute, or whatever you went to, 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Did I lose you?
Yeah, I'm here. It was just long in the tooth, this show, but the matches in wrestling are getting better. And they're good, but you're right, they're stepping on way too many segments and repeating things and kickouts of falsies of pile drivers and all this shit in multiple matches. These are problems that can be corrected with a meeting, a pre-show, pre-production meeting that needs to happen. And what we're talking about is cast discipline and everybody being on the same page and not being selfish and understanding what other matches and other people's business are trying to accomplish. Also with producers interacting with each other to understand what their job is in the greater part of the machine, and how we need to rebook some things so other things seem more important. And the main takeaway is these walk-on scenes backstage have got to end. We need to have much more show don't tell, action sequence, dramatic type setups, comedic setups that need to be taped between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. to make our show really entertain.
Again, the repeat stuff. I mean, there might have been some variables that played into it. I just think come up with something besides something after every freaking match. But
well, we got fights in the locker room. There's a lot of other bullshit going on. It's easy to, like I said, throw stones.
They don't give me the shenanigans in the ring. Should be the fight in the locker room.
What are you gonna do, man? That's the new locker room brawl video game be coming out next. But yeah, man, great show as always with you, RBV. Great insights, man. I loved all our talk up top, and I don't think the show's going to do any numbers. I think there was good takeaways and a lot of improved wrestling on it, though, especially when I see Brian Cage working his size, but then he gets beat. But somebody goes, "What do you expect?" He got beat by a girl, so that made me laugh last night in the AEW stuff.
That's good.
I broke open the bottle of mezcal. I'm not trying to tempt you by any means. I love that you're staying with your program and all that stuff, but got a little wild last night on some Mezcal. It was a good time, man.
Very, very nice. Very nice. I guess before we get out of here, I just something to tell you what I'm excited about. We talk about getting out there and learning. This Saturday, I'm making a trip up to Lima, Ohio to kind of sit.
Al Snow's hometown, Lima.
Yeah. Well, who runs there now? Big Tom War Wrestling. So I'm going to go just spend the whole day just watching, taking notes and learning from what one of the true greats in indie, running over 2 decades up there and just committed, owns a town and top production and all that. And I know you follow some of the stuff that Tom puts out there, all the advice that he shares, what he's learned. So looking forward to that this Saturday. I'm going to ride up with great young talent. Keep your eyes and ears open for Carson Drake, but I'm looking forward to sitting and learning.
Absolutely. Hopefully he has a great show, and sit and learn, but also say, hey man, if there's anything you need, any job.
Oh, I told him, I said, put me to work, whatever you need, man. I'm ready to jump right in.
So great. I'll have a great weekend with that, man. I've got a secret appearance in an indie. It might be that one. I might be in Lima, Ohio. So watch your back, infidels. Hacker Hamin's on the road this weekend to do my thing. So I look forward to being out there.
Oh, I guess we got a WWE pay-per-view this weekend too, don't we?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'll be doing the SmackDown Live self-help group on Friday night, twitch.tv/Hamin Media. Come hang out. We'll have some drinks. Bring your bits because I got to pay for the Vimeo re-up, which is not cheap at all. Appreciate all the bit cheers last night. Also had a great time with April Hunter on the A show. A lot of people saying one of the best shows in a long time. We just had a great flow, great conversation. So twitch.tv/the A shows, twitch.tv/Hamin Media. Give us subscribe to that. Also want to give a big subscribe shout out. We really need your guys' help. I'm sure a lot of you already subscribed to Stevie Ray TV, trying to get him monetized. We're about 85 subs away from that. So If you got alternate accounts, please go to Stevie Ray TV, or if you haven't subscribed yet, or if you can share it. A lot of great content we're going to be making free up there that was Patreon content. Obviously, Tokyo Heat with the legendary Sonny Ono from WCW, and also comedian Jimmy Tibbs. A lot of those shows we're going to make. So please give us a hand on Stevie Ray TV, getting that where it is, because he wants to do watch-alongs on Raw and other shows as well. But we got to get that channel fully monetized to where it needs to be. So appreciate all the HMG and Russo brand subscribers and anybody else out there giving us a hand with that.
Show the support. I'll tell you what is interesting about this weekend, though, with the on the big stage WWE pay-per-view or premium live event on the Cock Saturday night, AEW Rampage and Battle of the Belts Saturday night, running head-to-head.
Also, it's Saturday pay-per-view then for WWE. All right,
Yep.
so the Cock
They're going head-to-head, man. The Cock
head-to-head Cock action. That's what I like, pal. God damn.
Can the TNT blow up the Cock?
Well, we'll find out who can blow the cock the hardest. I know I've blown some. What's that, pal? Write that down.
We'll have to wait and find out Monday morning in the
yeah, man. It'll be interesting for sure. That's good because my show's on Sunday, so I won't have to do double duty and catch up for Monday. So I look forward to hanging out with you and hopefully Timmy Baltimore on Monday morning, talking all about the weekend's events. I'm sure you'll have plenty to bring back from War Wrestling, and I will too from Rochester UPW. So you guys we'll have a good time, man, talking all about that inside locker room talk. A lot of people loved the Monday show with Timmy this week where we didn't even cover headlines. We just talked about the biz, and that's what we do on this shiz here at channelattitude.com. Hamin Media Group, infidels. It's R to the B to the V. It's Hacker Hamin. You know what to do.
Ding dong. Hello?
This is the Hustler Rip Rogers. Yeah, it's fucking me. Yeah, and listen to the fucking Hamin Media Group. That's Ben Hamin Media Group from Rip Rogers. Go get him and go fuck yourself.